Hello, and welcome back to Skep's Unnamed Deck Showcase. I apologize for the bit of a brief hiatus between last episode and this one. I wasn't really feeling any deck in particular, but after the most recent ban list was announced and there were no hits to any relevant decks, I felt like I wanted to take a look at some of the semi-playable decks of the previous format that I expect to be around the same level of playability in the current format. Initially, I wanted to play Photon, but after playing it on Ranked and not really vibing with it too well, I was struck with an incredibly odd inclination towards playing this particular Dark Spellion Brew. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to my ever-ardent ally. So here we are with the deck, and right off the bat, you can see it is a little suboptimal because I do not have every card for this. I never figured I'd be playing Battle Chronicle until I pulled the second Successor Soul on my way to the third Mizuki for zombies, at which point I basically had everything, so I threw together what I had. If you want to play this deck optimally, play one copy of Ultimate Fusion and sub out the Wee Witch's Apprentice for the Dragon Master Knight. You still want to be playing Blackluster Soldier in this deck, and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is a better non-effect fusion target than any spellcaster fusion monster you would play, and since you can't search magicalized fusion with the skill, there's no reason to be playing non-effect spellcaster monsters to magicalized fusion for. So I figure the best way to go about building Dark Magician is still playing Ultimate Dragon in the extra deck, Blackluster Soldier in the main deck, and a copy of Dragon Master Knight in the extra deck for lethal pushes over the Wee Witch's Apprentice. But I don't have that card yet. When I do, that is the change I will make to the deck, and I advise you make it. Until that point in time, let me show you how the deck that I've been running works and how it is played. To begin with the card by card, we're playing one Chronicle Magician from the structure deck. This is good for making rank 7s, and an additional body on the field because, well, you can normal summon Dark Magician with the skill and activate the search. You cannot tribute it off of Successor Soul. So unlike in Blue Eyes where you have a ton of effect monsters, you can tribute between Spirit Dragon of White and the alternative dragon. You really want to play one additional effect monster in addition to your 3 Apprentice Illusion Magicians, which of course you still potentially want to play because they do search your DM for you. You really want to have access to this card, so we're playing the Apprentice Illusion, 3 copies of the DM itself, and Dark Magic Circle to scry for it. Additionally, our spell traps that list Dark Magician in their text are Dark Magic Attack and Eternal Soul. I don't want to play Eternal Soul at 3 because it feels bad to play, but I also really want to see it. So that's the sort of place we're at now. I wouldn't cut it, but I understand if you would. I just want to see it as often as possible. I just hate seeing more than one. But that's not enough of a reason to cut it, in my opinion, especially when we're only at one card over 20. You could potentially go to 20 and do that, but I don't think that's a great idea. Dark Magic Attack is great because, especially on ranked, back row decks are pretty popular just because Book of Moon, Crackdown especially, and the other Limit 3 traps are the best cards in the game. To be able to force out their activations before those trap cards would be activated optimally is very nice, and every time you Dark Magic Attack for 3 with this deck does shoot my brain full of serotonin, and I think you should at least try it out, especially on ranked. If you're playing in tournament, maybe not. But I think that's a fine target for Eternal Soul, because sometimes you don't have a Dark Magician in your graveyard, either attached to an Xyz monster or still on your field if it's early in the match. Chronicle Magician lets you make rank 7s, and it also is a second target on the field for a Successor Soul. Apprentice Illusion Magician is a target for a Successor Soul and searches your Dark Magician, which you can then normal summon without tributing to search Successor Soul that you will tribute Illusion Magician off for. It's also a good hand trap for your Dark Magicians to tie with Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or beat over an opponent's Blue Eyes. One Secrets of Dark Magic, just because this card is kind of crazy, especially good, allowing you to draw a trap or a quick play spell to set on your opponent's turn and activate, since we are playing Crackdown to go along with our Successor Soul. Very nice to be able to draw into that off of our fusion, which is searchable, so we are playing one of it. And our final cards for the main deck are 3 copies of Crackdown. I apologize if the main deck profile was a little all over the place. All you really need to know is that you want to be normal summoning Dark Magician, Apprentice Illusion, and Dark Magic Circle dig you for it. Chronicle Magician gets itself out of your hand if you hard draw DM. All of those effect monsters are targets for Successor Soul. Eternal Soul combos with Magical Circle, which we're already playing anyway, to search for DM as part of our gameplay loop. Secrets of Dark Magic is a flex search off of the skill. And Crackdown is the best limit 3 trap for the deck 2 combo with Successor Soul, because you can steal your opponent's effect monsters, tribute them off for your DM, sending an effect monster they control to the graveyard, and triggering your Dark Magic Circle. That is the main deck. Let's talk about the extra. We're playing double Imduck just because I feel like turning your Dark Magician into an effect monster for Successor Soul is so important. You probably want to be able to do that more than once. You at least want to play one, but there's nothing else I would really cut for it. I guess you could play Dark Cavalry. I don't own it. It's locked behind another Structure Deck EX, and I'm not going to pay for it, but technically you can fuse Blackluster Soldier and DM with secrets into Dark Cavalry, so if you want to play that, you can cut that for it. I would swap Wee Witch's Apprentice for Dragon Master Knight, but it is here for now. Nightmare Phoenix, this card is just another piece of back row removal if you want to get a Dark Magician off the field into your graveyard. So you could pop a Spell Trap, then revive Dark Magician to banish something with Circle and push for lethal. 1925 is over 4,000. One Ebon Illusion Magician, just because I pulled a ton of it opening for Salamangreat, and I might as well play it. This extra deck is pretty free. You don't go into it very often. One number 11 Big Eye. This is your best Xyz. If you were going to cut one Xyz, you would cut the Ebon and keep the Big Eye. One, the Dark Magicians. I think probably something every deck playing Dark Magician should be playing. And one, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, just because we're still going to send non-effect monsters from the extra deck anyway. This is the best one to send. What else would we send? The guy who's a fusion of Ancient Brain and something else. I don't think it really matters. Again, if you want to play this deck optimally, swap this out for Dragon Master Knight. Play Ultimate Fusion as the 22nd card, or find something to cut and keep it at 21 if you really want to. Potentially, you can cut the Imduck, like I said, for Dark Cavalry, but I don't think you're fusion summoning anything other than Dark Magicians with the Secrets of Dark Magic, and I don't think Eye of Timaeus is really good in this deck, nor is Magicalized Fusion, but again, potentially you can try those other cards out. Let me show you how this deck performed on ladder and against the metagame. Let's go right into the games. Alrighty here, so game number 1 is going to be up against the Mirror Match, a Yugimoto on Battle Chronicle Dark Magician. They're going to be on a 30-card main deck. I don't really know about that one. We're on 22 cards here because I forgot that I didn't have a target for Ultimate Fusion, and we got punished by drawing Ultimate Fusion and 3 cards that don't really do anything without a Dark Magician on our side of the field. So we'll see if we can't make something happen here. They're going to draw Rod in 30 cards. You'll love to see it, but that is their normal summon, so if they don't have another way of getting it out of their hand, we're not going to be too worried here. They, of course, draw the Eternal Soul, which potentially can summon DM from hand, but maybe not. We're going to activate Dark Magic Circle, scry into a second Dark Magic Circle, set an Eternal Soul just in case we draw into a DM. We're going to crack down their normal summoned Blackluster Soldier, knowing that they cannot send it to the graveyard off of Successor Soul. They're going to activate the skill and pass. We're going to special summon Battle Chronicle. They're going to then activate their Successor Soul to send our card to the graveyard. This will allow us to activate to send Dark Magician to the graveyard and add Successor Soul to our hand. We'll link off their Blackluster Soldier to make Imduck. This will give us a target for Successor Soul. We will then finally flip up Eternal Soul to banish their Dark Magician, and by that I mean the Blue Eyes White Dragon with our DM Circle. We'll set Successor Soul to tribute off Imduck during their turn, and we'll hit in for 800 and then 25. Looking pretty good here despite having a dead card in hand. They're going to normal summon a target for Successor Soul. That's all I need to hear. I do not want them to have that on the field, so we're going to send that, and then we're going to summon the Dark Magician to banish their DM Circle. They're going to activate the skill for Ultimate Fusion. I forgot I sent their Blackluster Soldier to the graveyard. I thought I banished it for some reason, but they're going to make Dragon Master Knight, another reason why you want to be playing that in this deck. You do still have pretty easy access to it. We will then activate Eternal Soul to add a Dark Magic attack, just so we don't need to worry about their set card. They're going to flip Eternal Soul. Very smart play there. Didn't matter because if they didn't, we could have still banished their monster with Eternal Soul and Circle, meaning we would still hit in for lethal anyway, which we do, and win the match. Game number 2 here, going to be up against the Scourge of the Ladder, Neo Yubel, at least until Blackluster Soldier gets their Magistus cards back, which I expect will allow that deck to make a return on the ladder as well. They are going to go first. Open Swords, Revealing Light. I've just been seeing an influx of people playing this on ladder. Don't play this card, folks. It's bad. Imagine how much differently this match would have gone if they had opened a good card instead. They're going to activate that. Normal Summon Yubel. Activate the skill to set the evolved form twice in one turn. Send that card again. And flip summon Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare. What do you think their last 2 cards in hand are? Doesn't matter. They're going to add a Miracle Contact from outside their deck, telegraphing that they probably have a Neos in hand. All right, what could their last card be? It's Neos Fusion, of course it is. So, not any interaction. This would be a much more difficult board to deal with if they, in fact, had a real trap card set, but they don't. We have Dark Magician plus Chronicle Magician, which is really nice, and 2 copies of Eternal Soul. Hopefully we can maybe get a DM Circle to combo with them. Let's see what we draw for turn here. It is a Crackdown, which is pretty good. We're going to activate Chronicle Sorcerer's effect, which will then increase our DM's attack to 5,000. Not that it matters, because we will not be attacking with it. Send a Blackluster Soldier so we don't draw it. Successor Soul, special summon a Dark Magician to make Big Eye. That will allow us to steal their Neos Kluger to avoid its floating effect. We're going to set 2 cards and pass. We're going to crack down their Yubel, activate Eternal Soul to bring back a Dark Magician, get that Swords Revealing Light off the field, and hopefully kill them with their own Kluger. That would be fun, I think. We are going to discard Eternal Soul, summon a Dark Magician, activate Battle Chronicle, proceed to the battle phase, and they will concede in shame before we can kill them with their own monster. Last game here before we move on to the meta replay is going to be up against a Varus on 30-card Rockets. This deck they're playing is a little bloated, but there's some sexy tech in here that I'm excited to be showing off in this match here. We're going to special summon Chronicle Magician, search a copy of Successor of Dark Magic, or whatever the hell it's called, set the Successor Soul and the Fusion Spell and pass. I should have activated this immediately so I could start drawing off my opponent's spell activations, but I wanted to play around potential removal. They're going to hard open Dragon Ravine, 1 of in 30 cards, by the way, which will allow them to send a Galactic Spiral Dragon to the graveyard. This is a really interesting tech in the deck that I do quite like. Gives the deck access to the rank 8 pool, and rank 8 dark monsters are actually pretty crazy. They're going to hard open Boot Sector in 30 cards. That's pretty funny. Then we'll Fusion Summon before they can get rid of our monster with any particular, or before they can reborn from graveyard. Getting rid of our 2 monsters into 1 will prevent them from special summoning from grave. We're going to activate Battle Chronicle. Then we are going to, they're going to activate Book of Moon. I should have tributed it off so I could prevent that card from floating, but now we probably lose the game. Really poor play on my part. If I had Ultimate Fusion, I would have searched that instead of Successor Soul. So then when they move to make a lethal push here, I can then just fuse my monsters into Dragon Master Knight to keep me from dying. They make Orchest of the Evening Star, and then what I could have done was fuse into Master Knight and keep myself alive to potentially win on the next turn, but I was out of Dark Magicians at this point. C'est la vie, we do lose the game due to that lethal push, but a pretty cool deck from our opponent for sure. Alrighty, first of our meta matches here is going to be up against the superior Battle Chronicle deck, Blue Eyes White Dragon, a real meeting of the minds here. Our opponent is at least on 20 cards, so they can save me the pain of having to deal with any ridiculous tech cards this deck might be playing. We open double Suck Soul, 1 Magician and Eternal Soul. We'll see if we can't make anything happen with this. Normal Summon DM, Battle Chronicle into the Secrets of Dark Magic. We will send the Blackluster Soldier. This is our only target left, which is why we search it. We're going to set 1 Suck Soul and 1 Eternal Soul. They're going to Dragon Spirit of White, targeting the middle zone always, which will allow us to activate Successor Soul. They do not have a target in hand to tag out, so we are going to get the Dark Magician off. We do have an Eternal Soul for any other potential cards. They're going to set 3 cards against the Dark Magician player. I don't know about that one, Chief. We do then add Dark Magic Attack to our hand, so we're going to punish them for that play. Oh, look how satisfying that is, folks. Crackdown is not going to save you, so we are going to pop their entire back row. Feels pretty dang good, man. And we're going to get in for 25, Eternal Soul to revive Dark Magician, and get in for lethal. All right, folks, last game here up against the first place deck from the last KC Cup. Red Eyes Zombies. Thank you to Mechlord for dueling against me for this replay. Haven't found a lot of zombies on ranked ladder, just a lot of Battle Chronicle and random shit. So they're going to activate the skill to send the best 2 cards, Mizuki and Chungo the Bungo, to the graveyard, as well as Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord the Zombie. Did you know this card was a zombie? I didn't. To set the zombie reborn, which they will then activate, targeting the Spirit Owl to revive itself, banishing the Red Eyes Spirit to revive the other one, going to send Mad Mauler, make the one they returned to field a level 4 to make the Undead Dragon or the Immortal Dragon. This will allow them to make Vampire Sucker. They will Foolish Burial another Mizuki, banish Mizuki for the Spirit Owl, activate Sucker, activate Mizuki for the Mad Mauler. This will allow them to make a level 8 synchro, of course, the Skeletal Dragon Felgrand, which we're not too worried about. They're going to make the Ice Mayakashi to shuffle back 3 cards with their quick play spell. Mizuki again for the Red Eyes Dragon Lord. Link off for the Vampire Sucker to pass back to us. We will then discard an illusion for an illusion, which will allow us to search the Dark Magician. Then we will activate the Dark Magical Circle to add Eternal Soul, normal summon the Dark Magician, banish the Vampire Suckle, activate Butthole Chronicle for the Suck Soul. I think about what to set here. I could have set Crackdown, but we are at a point where we're running out of spell and trap zones here, so I decide to hold the Crackdown and the Successor Soul for their battle phase. They will then revive the Skeletal Dragon Felgrand. If they had activated it targeting our Apprentice Illusion Magician, I would have attributed it. They probably should have targeted DM, but that's why I held Secret of Dark Magic. If they targeted anything, I would have just tagged out with one of our quick play spells. We're going to send the Zombie Dragon Lord away to get DM, and then Fuse just in case they want to activate any spells on their turn, like the Different Dimension Burial Capsule, whatever the hell it's called. So we're going to make the Dark Magicians here. They're going to draw into Enemy Controller, which will tribute off Felgrand, allowing them to take my Dark Magicians, triggering its effect to draw a card because they control it. They will revive the Zombie Dragon Lord. I can Eternal Soul. We do have 2 DMs in grave, so nothing to really worry about. But they have any number of ways to get their monsters back on the field, including the second Different Dimension Capsule. So at the very least, we can't say we lost this game because Dark Magician is dog shit. We lost this game basically exclusively because we did get sacked out of the game by the one of Enemy Controller into the second copy of the capsule. They're going to make the Sun Saga. All they have to do is pop the soul, which will blow up our field, and they have more than enough damage on the field to kill us. That's just the way it goes sometimes. So we're back with the deck. Outside of that pretty embarrassing loss to 30-card Rockets and a handy defeat at the hands of Red Eyes Zombies, I was pretty impressed with this deck's performance. Now, yes, it is both less powerful and consistent than its tiered counterpart in Blue Eyes White Dragon Chronicle, but in a world where Battle Chronicle isn't on the chopping block in the coming months, and it's instead the Blue Eyes cards that end up getting hit, this deck just might have more staying power in the long term compared to its current meta counterpart. Now, obviously, you're going to really want to be playing Dragon Master Knight if you have it, instead of the Wee Witch, and the Ultimate Fusions to make it. But overall, I felt this list was a good skeleton for what I would consider to be a good Dark Magician deck at the current time. 3 Eternal Soul felt like the right amount, even in games where we drew multiples. It never felt like breaking on it was what lost me the game. Dark Magic Attack way overperformed, and I would expect similar results for anyone else thinking of playing this on ladder, and I would not suggest cutting it. Overall, I never thought I would be saying this, but Dark Magician is a decently fun deck for casual rank grinding, and it has more than enough potential to take games off of slower meta strategies, but I would not consider this a serious metagame contender in its own right anytime soon. So that's that. I hope any Dark Magician fans watching didn't get too excited. I give myself about a week tops before I go back to playing any other deck on the ladder and start hating on Dark Magician, as I regularly did beforehand. If you did enjoy this video, or at the very least found it informative, I would be very happy if you left a like and a comment on this video. Comments and likes do help this video's analytics, which will get it in front of the eyes of more people, which will help my channel grow in turn, which I'd be very thankful for. Regardless of all of that, thank you so much for watching until the end of this video, and I will see you next time.